set it dead. I hope you can hear me. We got a train going south, about a quarter of a mile away, and they're very loud. And I think we got a thunderstorm that might be getting close. I'm gonna try to get a quick video in. We showed you around here on this side once upon a time. This old hutch right here, I've decided I think it's going to go away, and I'm going to end up hanging cages the same way I did right over there. But you'll remember some time back I did a video and I showed you guys our PVC hoop house that I said we were going to put tarps on. Let me tell you a little story. Okay, Austin and I finally found time. We got the hoop house done. Well, I showed you that on the previous video about it, or the only video I made about it. And I told you I was going to get some tarps and put some tarps on it and strap them on and what have you. And it was going to be a nice shelter to keep the rain and everything off the rabbits. But at the same time, I wanted it to have plenty of ventilation because it's so stinking hot. Well, we got it moved around here in place. We're exactly where we wanted it to be, and Austin and I got a tarp strapped on the top of it. And the next day we were going to go. We got the tarp strapped right down the center of the top of it. The next day we were going to put some more tarps down on the side and down to where, you know, the rabbits, if it was a blowing rain, water wouldn't blow in on these guys. And anyway, that night about, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock, everybody was asleep, but it came a big old windy blowing thunderstorm. Felt like, you know, there's tornadoes all around and what have you. And naturally, since we had just put the tarp on and had to kind of stop in the middle because it had gotten almost dark, we didn't have it anchored down to the ground. That was left for the next day, as well as finishing up putting the tarps on. So the thing had sit out here in the yard for about a month. It would go like this in the wind, but as soon as we put that tarp on the top of it and moved it over here in place, naturally we didn't have it staked down yet, so that tarp became a big old sail. And that night the wind actually picked it up and flipped it over. And let me show you, because most of it is still right where it landed. Okay, whoops, we got everything tightened down here. We can't see that PVC pipe back there. See all that? Yeah, that was tightened down. There we go. There now. See all that PVC pipe over there? That's where it picked it up and flipped it over. That's that hoop house that I showed you guys in a previous video, upside down. So what we did was, I was so disgusted because I thought, well, okay, no problem. We can just flip it over, keep going. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we could flip it over and keep going, but then upon further inspection, some of the actual fittings on the corners and what have you actually broke, and a couple of the pipes actually broke. And well, you know, you can cut PVC and piece things back together, but they're never going to fit together right. And I just got so disgusted with it. I went over there, we pulled the tarp back off of it, and I told Austin, heck with it, we're going to do this a little different. I don't know if y'all remember, but in that same video I also showed you a stack of 2x3 and 4x3 posts, I call them, or beams, and then there was some 2x3 boards. Some of them are not the greatest, but because they've been rotten, they were sitting out at a guy's house, they were in a stack, but you know, some of them got wet and what have you, so they were some rotten ones. But we sorted through them. We decided that we was going to do it a different way. What we did was, we kind of did the same, sort of kind of the same principle, but we made these boards. The boards were all 8 foot, so we made them 8 foot, 8 foot tall, 8 foot wide, and this is about 8 feet. So it's 8 by 8 by 8, and what we did was, we just pretty much left this open. We put one 2x4 or 2x3 right through the center here and here. This is going to be kind of the top where our cages are going to hang. Same way over here on the side. Come on down, sis. Now, over there. See that board? The 2x3 that goes across there? These cages are kind of connected to the top of that. I've got baling wire around them. I've got baling wire right up here around this one, hanging that one. I've got a baling wire here to support that, to support this cage. And then I've got this board right here, and I've actually got both of these cages here where they, see this is two separate cages here. And I've got those fastened to that board, and it kind of helps support them on this end. Now they'll still move a little bit, but they're not going to go anywhere. You know, when you hang cages, there's always a little bit of bounce to them, or at least they have been for me. But this baling wire isn't the way I prefer to do it. I eventually want to put dog chain or some kind of small chain in its place, and because baling wire, especially this old stuff, this is just some we saved off of some bales, but it's been a while since we've gotten bales of hay that actually had real baling wire on them. Now they use the red or the orange looking baling twine, and that's what all of our hay comes with now. So this baling wire's been around a while. It's rusty. You know, baling wire isn't exactly the strongest stuff in the world anyway, but we're making do. But what we did is, you know, we've had Grubs and Gracie out here for a while. Anyway, this old hutch here, you know, I've showed you this before. This is not really the way I like to do it. Because, see this? Can you see that white stuff on that board in the? This is Gracie's corner. This is where she chooses to urinate. So what happens is this board right here soaks up her urine. And guess what? That promotes bacteria growth, which causes disease. I do not like that. So sometime in the hopefully not too distant future, we're going to take these two cages out of here. We're going to chunk the hutch, and we're going to put a board across just like we did down there, probably about the same. Just go from here to here, and we're going to hang cages up right here the same way. So there's going to be one long run. Now this 8x8x8, we also have plans to build another one just on the other side. Okay, just to fill you in on what we're going to do. Take a look up there, Sis.
Okay.
Okay. We've got the tarp strapped on with bungees. Okay, that has already been sort of tested. It's been up there about a week. We've had some rain. We've had a couple of thunderstorms, and we've come out here afterwards. I haven't actually stood out here during the rain or a storm yet, but I've come out here and afterwards, and the food in the dishes here is dry and the rabbits are dry. So if that can happen after a thunderstorm when it's usually blowing at least some while it's raining, I'm pretty well satisfied that everything's going to be okay. Now what we're going to do when we hang these up all the way down here, you know, this is going to be 16 feet long. Now the ceiling here on this is 8x8x8 as well. Well, no, it's 8x8 square, but it's not 8 feet tall. That's 8 feet tall. This is a little bit shorter. So we'll do something different. You know, we'll get a tarp up here, make some way, put some lumber up here or something to where it'll make a pitch where the rain will run off, because if you've ever tried to make a flat shelter out of a tarp, you'll know that when it rains, the water collects in the center, weights it down, and that's usually where your first leak's going to be if the weight of the water doesn't actually pull the tarp down. Well, we don't want that. We want to pitch either on one side on every section or in the center. Now down here, we raise that up about 4 inches. That's all it'll take. That tarp will shed rain just like a duck's back, and it'll roll off either side. Now we're still going to put a tarp here on the top of this, and what I plan to do is I plan to take some of the smaller, cheaper tarps, the little 6 foot by 8 foot or whatever the smallest ones are, and I'm going to make walls here. And what I want to do is I want to fasten the tarp at the top on the walls, and bring the bottom of it down to just past the bottom of where the rabbits' cages are hanging. And that way, they've constantly got a potential no matter where the sun is, no matter where the or where the rain is blowing from, the idea is that they're not going to be able to get wet and they're not going to be in any direct sunlight. Okay? For about 30 minutes in the morning, these guys right here do get some direct sunlight on the back side of the cage. But you know what? I've looked out here. Rabbits are smarter than some people that I know even. They'll be laying on the front of the cage. See, she's laying at the back right now. For that 30 minutes or 40 or whatever in the morning when there's sun shining right over there about halfway in that cage, she'll be right over here. But the point is, I don't want her to have to do that. We're going to put a tarp up there. That way any rain that can blow in, and the road is over there. That also kind of hides the fact that I have rabbits here, and so I don't have anybody going by saying, hey, that guy's got rabbits there, and waiting until we're gone and then coming up here and messing with them or stealing them. Yeah, it can happen. There's a lot of dishonest folks in the world, people. I hate to say that, but you know, anyway, you know, the devil's a liar, and so are the people that work for him. So we're just going to try to do the best we can do, and kind of, I've always believed in, you know, kind of out of sight, out of mind. If nobody knows they're here, or very few know that they're actually here, and the tarp will help that. There are going to be those that are going to wonder, hey, what do they have back there behind those tarps? But if for those of you that have been at our place before, you know that they're not going to get very far into the yard without Chloe or Junior alerting us to the fact that they're here. So, you know, with that said, they're going to have, but now we're going to make it to where in the winter we can roll those tarps all the way down to the ground, or almost to the ground. Even in the winter, we're still going to need ventilation in here, because these rabbits, you people with rabbits, you know as well as I do, that's some of the nastiest smelling urine I think that comes out of any of God's creatures. And that ammonia that comes up out of it can cause respiratory distress in these rabbits if we don't make it to where, I hate chickens. If we, well, until they're deep fried, I do anyway. But the ammonia fumes and what have you coming up off the ground or whatever, you know, the fact that it falls on and can soak into the ground here will help a lot. But if there was a wall here, or even a tarp going all the way down to the ground on all four sides in the winter, the ventilation is going to be such that the fumes can come up and affect the rabbits breathing. They're going to breathe those fumes. I don't want that to happen. I like having happy, healthy rabbits, and so we will leave them. I'm going to make them where they're adjustable, I think. I think I'm going to make it take a big piece of PVC pipe and zip tie them. Zip tie the tarp where the eyelets are to a piece of PVC pipe that we can use and roll the tarp up and unroll it to raise it up and let it down as the seasons change. Or at least that's the idea. We're going to see how that works. We'll keep you updated. I know there's a lot of people that's going to say, you know, a tarp, that's not a very good shelter. Well, you know, if you're a rabbit, it's pretty good. Because if you're a rabbit, all you want is no drafts or no strong wind, and you want to be dry. And in the summer, you want as much airflow past you, if you're a rabbit, as you can get. Okay? Right now, let me see what my thermometer says. My thermometer says 72 for about 75 degrees out here because we've had storms and rain and what have you go through. Look at Gracie May. She's still sitting there. She's still hot. She's panting. Look at that fur coat they're wearing. Okay? In the summer, they want as much airflow past them as they can get. Okay? In the winter, the only time I've ever had a rabbit, number one, all of our rabbits live through 13 below temperatures, or 13 degrees with a wind chill of 13 below, I think is what we had in this past December. We lost litters, baby rabbits that come out of mama all wet and sticky and everything. We lost those. Adult rabbits, baby rabbits with fur, we lost 0 in those temperatures. They love winter. That's what they're built to handle. Okay? These rabbits all descend from European rabbits that you find in the wild in Europe. Okay? I haven't been to Europe, but I think they have. There's a reason God created them to handle colder climates, and I think in many parts of Europe, I think European wild rabbits handle a lot harsher winters than what we have here in northeast Arkansas. So these rabbits, they don't. That is their most comfortable time of the year is in winter, or what we call winter. Okay. While we're here, y'all have met Grubs before. We'll do a quick update here. This is Grubs. He's looking a little ragged. He's blowing a coat. He kind of stretched out. Yeah, he acts a little hand shy until I touch him, and then he just loves. See, he's just soaking up the attention. He just loves it. Yeah, he's a big baby. See, we play blocks too. Here, you want to play blocks? See, I'll give him a block and he'll throw it back at me. Here, come on. No. You're not going to do it because the camera's rolling. You got to make me out to be a liar. Huh? Come on, we're going to play blocks. Here. There you go. Throw it at me. He says it's too hot for this crap. Go away and leave me alone. All right. This is Gracie May. This is out of Rumbuns Nebo and Rumbuns Ozark. We got her from PJ, or Grace Hollow Rabbitry. She's recently been bred. I was going to wait until later this summer, but we decided to go ahead and see what she can do. She's bred to Grubs, so I don't remember the exact date. I think she's only been bred about a week, if she took. It could have been hot enough that Grubs is already having a low sperm count, so you know there may not be a pregnancy, but we did give it a shot. This is, who is this, Becca?
Delilah, maybe?
This is Delilah. I knew that. I was just saying.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
All right. How do y'all like my fancy cage latches? Look, these little bitty bungee straps, you can get them at Walmart, a thing of 20 of them for $5.99 plus tax. Yeah, well, they won't last forever, but then again, these springs don't last forever either. They end up breaking on me. So. Oh my goodness. It's okay, Delilah. They're not shooting at us. I hope. Yeah, this is Delilah. Now, this is from the winter litter. The Hershey. This is a doe that we saved out of Hershey, and she is sired by Blueberry, obviously. See that nice blue? She's the doe that had nest box eye, and we kept her because we didn't want to sell anybody a damaged rabbit. But as you can see, she's still easy sugar. I want to show everybody your eye. Well, it almost looks perfect now. But she does have a little cloudy spot in her left eye. And so she would be a DQ if you tried to show her and a judge found it. We're just making a brood doe out of her, okay? I would have, look at her. I mean, look at her. I would love to have showed her. It almost makes me cry that she's damaged goods. But she's gonna have babies that will look as good as she does. I mean, she is just, well, she's the cat's meow, to say the least. Gonna miss them at Twix and Hershey. They left yesterday for their new home in central Arkansas. We received a video from the young lady. She sent me a video last night, showed Twix and Hershey and the other rabbit. She actually ended up taking 6 rabbits from here. And I complained because she still had one empty carrier space and she didn't fill it up before she left. Sounds like something I would do, doesn't it? Now this, I think is going to be taffy. Somebody told me, Felicia Howell, viewer Felicia Howell, she told me that blue taffy is always the best. So since she's blue, we're going to call her Taffy. And her mama is also Twix. Okay? Oh wait, did I say? I didn't say this was Twix, did I? Anyway, just in case I misspoke, this is Hershey's baby, and this one is Twix's baby. Now, Delilah is ready to breed, and we may actually give her a shot here in the next couple of days if this weather stays nice like this. Now, Taffy, I think, needs a little bit of time. I'll have to look up her exact birth date. But hey, we got some. This is some of the newer generation. This is why some of the older babies have to go away, or older babies, the older does. We have to you know, you've heard me talk about it, that continuous improvement rotation type deal. Hershey and Twix, they left. Not a thing wrong with them. We love them to death. We shed tears over the fact that they left. It's just part of it, okay? You're not going to improve if you're trying to continuously improve the breed like you should be if you're a responsible breeder. You're not going to do that by continuously breeding the same rabbits for years at a time, okay? You've got to move a rabbit down, okay? If your breedings are successful and you're getting babies that are better than your brood animals that you have right now, in a few months you're going to need some of those better babies to become your brood animals. That's how you continuously improve, okay? That's what this is. Now, these will probably not be bred to tag along. I might try, these being dilutes, I may try, both of them are sired by Blueberry. I may try breeding Blueberry back to both or either of them. It's called line breeding. Completely acceptable, and actually, you know, I won't even get into that, but I may or may not do that. But I have a beautiful solid black buck that I have kept back from the litter that Tag and Iris had together this past winter, and he carries blue, so he may be the candidate that we go with, because Tag, Iris is his parent, which means he's completely unrelated to either of these two ladies. So he makes the most logical choice, because I've kind of sort of got two different lines of mini Rex going here in the Rabbitry. Especially considering I've got 2 bucks right now. Well, now I've got 3 because of Carmel, but we won't go there yet because he's so new. But these others, we've got tag babies, we've got Blueberry babies. So if I breed a tag baby to these, I'm actually effectively combining the 2 lines of genetics that we have going here. And will it work? I don't know. And most breeders will tell you, you don't know. That's why we call it test breeding. You do it once. If it doesn't work, you don't. You know, it's back in the day, I'm sure that my buddy PJ didn't know if Ink and Bloomer would manufacture a bunch of Grand Champion rabbits. But once she found out, I guarantee you, every time Bloomer got bred, Ink was the candidate. So, you know, she just tried it, found out that it worked, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to try some breedings. If they work, we'll continue. If not, we'll change something around. This is Gemma. Gemma is, I think you've met once before. Gemma is the daughter of Chughole Sorrel 96. And come here, shoulders. Oh, look at that coat. Oh my goodness, look at all that. She's blowing out. But it's about time. It's about time. We might. She's not bred. She's only about 5 months old, and she's not quite to the weight where I would want to breed her at. But we hope that she's gonna. Come here, baby. Come here. She's a big baby. She's a big baby. Come here. Yeah, there she is. She is half sister to Bianca and Cheyenne. She is not Molly, my rabbit habits, Molly. I'm not sure where that Rabbitry is located. I think it's somewhere here in Arkansas. But anyway, her mama's name is Molly. And Bianca and Cheyenne's mama's name is Marcy, but they have the same father, Chughole Sorrel 96, which is from Northern Ohio Rabbitry in Rabbitry, Arkansas. You can contact that man. He does a lot better job telling the story if you're interested in how they get a Northern Ohio Rabbitry in the middle of Arkansas. I'll let him tell the story, but it has to do with the Northern Ohio Railroad. It was actually located little. Anyway, contact David Pitts. He'll tell you all about it. Northern Ohio Rabbitry, Rabbitry, Arkansas. He loves to tell the story. Anyway, this is Gemma. She's gonna be, hopefully, I don't know, I've been looking at her, and if her shoulders fill out like I think that they might, we might take her and show her in September. Hey, don't chew on that. Don't chew on that. You chew that, and big old coon will come up here and crawl in there and get you. Silly girl. She's silly. Anyway, we just wanted to kind of show you, you know, it's nothing fancy, but shelter. Keep them dry, draft free. This time of year, draft free is not that important because they actually will appreciate the more airflow they can get through here. Right now, it was a little breezy when we first came out. Now the air is still, and with the rain we've been having, it's nice and muggy. And trust me, some moving air would be very nice here. But what we plan on doing is we're going to do the same thing with these cages. We're going to have another 8x8x8 right out here. Okay? And so what we're going to eventually have is we're going to have 8, 8, and 8. So on both sides we're going to have a row of cages that sticks out from the wall 2 feet. 2 feet here, 2 feet on this side. That's going to leave us a 4-foot walkway down the center, and it's going to be 24. It's 16 now. It's going to be 24 total feet. It'll come to out here somewhere. Yeah, I don't. Whatever I do, I don't really want to go past the utility pole right there. So about another 8, and that's going to give us 24 feet of cage this way, 24 feet of cage that way. And we're going to kind of work on that and test it for a while, if you will. And if that works, right over here where all this junking crap that I showed you some time back, we're going to get that all sorted and burned, what can burn, and thrown away and hauled off or scrap or whatever. But we'll do the same thing and make another one just like this right over here, if this works. Yes, I know the tarps, the wind is eventually going to whip them around and just tear them all to pieces. But you know what? That tarp is like $7, you know. If I was putting, and the thing is, this, if you want to consider it temporary, that's fine. I can keep putting more tarps up there every time they tear up and keep replacing them. But here's the thing. There might come a time when we actually are able to not turn a profit, but actually bring in a little bit of revenue from somewhere, and actually we might be able to afford to put some sheets of metal roofing up there, you know. It's 8 feet wide, so I don't know. 8 feet. So, you know, I'm thinking 8 or 10 sheets. Anyway, that's what we're doing for a rabbitry. Like I said, the tarps, we're going to have them. They'll go down the side. They're going to block wind. Most of our storms, when we have it, the blowing rain comes from the south or the southwest, which is that way. So, at least on this side, we'll probably need to have tarps. Now, in the summer, well, yeah, we will because of that sun. Because I don't want the sun hitting them directly in the morning, even for 30 minutes. I don't want it happening. So, because, you know, it doesn't take long. Direct sunlight, as much as the heat already affects them, direct sunlight will kill them just a little while, and we're not going to go there. But right now they're to where they can actually get move to the front of the cage and actually keep shade on them. So we are going to continue, you know, and make another square. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and put some cages, because we're going to get that hutch out. We're going to put those cages up on the wall over there, and then we're going to have 16 running feet here, 16 running feet over here. That's a total of 32 inches of cage space, and we've got cages, some of them are 24 and some of them are 36 wide. So we'll be able, depending on which ones we use, we'll be able to use that many total feet and put them all in line. And then we're going to try to rig up something to put some dividers in between here, so if we have grow outs or white rabbits or something like that in here, or something we're going to show, especially if they're bucks, we can have partitions between them to keep them from spraying each other and making them all nasty, you know, a week before the show and what have you. But that's what we've got going on out here. I know a lot of you have been wondering about it and you know, asking about it, and we kind of scrapped the PVC hoop house idea. I may still try to build one of those for the other side of the house and end up making a greenhouse out of it, but on the north side of the house, those storms, number one, the house is going to make that wind, all that wind go up and past the hoop house, and we'll just make sure as soon as we put it up, we'll or put a tarp on it or plastic on it, we'll anchor it to the ground so we don't have that happen again. But anyway, most of this is going to be cut apart, and all the fittings and everything are just going to be thrown away. But hey, we tried it. We tried it before we decided it wouldn't work. So, but the wood is so much heavier that the wind is not going to pick this all up. And you know, it would rip those, it would stretch out those bungee cords and rip that tarp off of that before it would pick up all this lumber. You know, it's a lot heavier. So it's what we should have done in the first place, but I had seen these hoop houses on YouTube and what have you used for various purposes, and I just liked the looks of them, and it was going to be so much wider that, well, like I said, I had to give it a shot. It didn't work out, but we're making something else work, folks, and here in Arkansas, this is all we need. You know, keep them just as a side note here, the tarp that we put up here is brown on one side and it's silver on the other. We put the silver reflective side up. Yes, it makes a difference. It reflects sunlight or heat, UV light or whatever. It reflects it away from the top of the building here. And if we flip that over, it's probably going to be a lot hotter inside here. But we put, instead of the brown side facing up towards the sky, we put the silver side, and it makes a lot of difference. Keep that in mind if you use a tarp to shelter your rabbits. If it's got two colors on it, like some of them do, put your silver or your lighter colored side aiming up. And then that sunlight will hit it, and a lot of that UV and the heat or the radiation or whatever will be reflected back away from the top or the inside. So anyway, we're gonna cut this off. I hope this gives you guys an update. This is an update on the rabbits that are out here, and we're hoping we're going to be able to bring you a baby rabbit update not in a not too distant future, so y'all be watching for that. But in the meantime, we hope you've enjoyed this. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Ring the little bell, hit that like button. You could don't forget to hit go to and hit like on our Facebook page. We'd love to have you join us there. We post a lot of stuff there in real time that doesn't actually make it into a video, and you can keep up with us a little bit more, you know, in real time, and what have you. You can post your rabbits, pictures of your rabbits, tell us about your rabbitry setup, cage setup, what you're using for what. Let's just talk about it. Hey, it's rabbits. I can talk about them all day long, right? Okay, y'all have a great day. God bless.